Hello, 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 and welcome to Survivor Debrief. My name is Eden Porter, the unlucky loser from Survivor Titans vs. Rebels. And with me, as always, is my comedic partner and real-life brother, Josh. Josh, how you going?
I'm sad. Eden, I'm sad.
I'm
very sad. It's so sad that I've brought out my immunity sock.
Yo, the immunity sock's here.
I've got my immunity sock. Veil Toady. So sad.
Can we all get our immunity socks out?
Let's put out your socks, folks. Put out your socks.
Put out your socks.
If you're listening to this, we've got our socks out.
Socks out in the chat.
Yeah, socks out in the chat. Comment your favourite immunity sock.
Socks out in the chat. We want pictures of socks. We want hashtag socks out.
Yeah. Socks out for Toady. Hashtag socks out for Toady. I think
get it trending. Get it trending.
Yeah.
Devastated episode.
Oh, it sucks. And we even said it last week. Like, I don't think Toady is long for this world. And we'll get to it all later, but very, very sad to see.
Very sad to see. Very sad to see. But yeah, at the top of the show, let's just get straight into it, Josh. So,
yes.
Fallout from the George vote, not a lot. We just know that Luke really didn't like George.
Yes. He's like, he's taken my king label, man.
That's
I
all
want
it's
it back.
that's all it is. It's based on the king stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
It's so weird, but that's it.
And then, we did see Janine and Luke obviously tidying up as that little pair, and Janine sort of mea culpa going to Luke, being like, oh, I stuffed it. He's like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about
cool.
it. But the other thing is, does anything really change in the game if Janine and Luke don't do that? Don't vote Shani? I don't think... is Shani holding a vendetta now against Janine? I think she was going to go for Janine anyway.
I think they saw them as the other side anyway.
Yeah.
So it's more so about when we get to merge. And Luke made that sort of interesting pitch around this is a solid four, like who he wanted to keep together.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting now. Everyone's definitely thinking about merge.
Yeah, dude, merge is on the tip of everyone's tongues. The other thing that came out at the start was the Sarah Kirby, because again, Sarah didn't get what she wanted. Sarah was like, oh, I passed the test again, Kirby's tests. I passed them again. But what now? There's something that I want to mention here, because I feel like Sarah is being impacted by the sunk cost fallacy. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's explain for our listeners.
Yeah. So it's the idea of so in a scam or something, you put some money in, and then they keep going, and you go, well, I've already spent $100, so I've got to keep going, and I'll give a bit more, because if I stop now, then I've definitely lost all that money that I put in. So you
invested all that trust in Kirby.
So it's a sunk cost fallacy, loyalty, and trust. That's she's put it in, and she's like, I've put in so much now, I can't get off it.
I think
stop.
it's that combined with her wish to not be jumping around and being disloyal. So she feels like you could see the tension that she's got between like, oh, this is the way I said I'd play, and I didn't not want to do this, and I'm committed to Kirby, and like it's really tearing her apart. We see, I think. Yeah,
it's the spam email that's like, hey, we need some more money, and you're like, oh, okay, I'll put it in there. But yeah, so she's not in a great spot, and now as soon as things start to shake out, I think she's in trouble. I think Sarah's in trouble as well. But let's jump straight to the challenge. Do you want to jump straight to the challenge?
Yes. Let's do it. The single/double immunity challenge.
Yes, so they've done it as pairs before, where both people push their legs together to hold the block up. And that's quite good. But yeah, this was interesting just doing it solo, and wild that all the Australians went out before one world.
Oh man, that was crazy. And I was going to ask you, do you think that is like a skill issue or like a hunger issue? Like the people in the world are like, I'm here to play, I want to win and bust my ass on everything, or is it just literally like this particular challenge was they were just better suited?
I think everyone, I think sort of everyone wants to play. I think everyone does want to play.
Yeah.
But do they need it more? Are there more people in the world that are like, I really need this immunity? Maybe not.
I feel like maybe in the world they're more like, I've come all this way for this big special event thing.
Yeah.
I really want to secure my chances because it's a hot competition, maybe.
It's hot. I just asked Tommy. He's sweating buckets out there.
Yeah, he absolutely was.
So Lisa's sitting out, strange one as well. Like,
yeah.
Who knows? I'm not sure. But check Reddit. Reddit will figure that out soon enough, I think. And Kirby, this is the first little seeds that we see between Parv and Kirby.
Yes.
Kirby's straight up, I want to work with you.
I reckon she's heard around camp. People have been talking about Parvati. And so she's like, oh, that's probably someone I should connect with.
Yeah, I think they're building her up. And Kirby likes to play, like, keep one big player with her. Like, that's how she sort of moves forward. And I think she decided that Parv is that big player that she wants to keep. And she doesn't really watch about anything else.
Yeah. The other thing I found really interesting is Cass is definitely showing herself to be really strong in the challenges.
Yes.
Because I feel like this is the second one in a row where she's been pretty rock solid.
Now, Josh, I just want to mention something here. So for people that haven't seen some of the world seasons with these other players, there's a default setting that you look at them as a newbie because you've never seen them play before. And I think your interpretation is like, oh, yeah, Cass is a newbie, Elise is a newbie. And you forget that these guys are really good at Survivor.
Yeah.
And and a perfect example of this was Parv putting out the deal and her going, no.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
I'm going to do this. And it wasn't only until she was 100% going to drop that she was like, cool, I'll take that deal.
Yeah.
Because no one is holding Parv to, oh, yeah, you said that you would drop out now. Like, no one's holding anyone to
No
that.
way. If it came down to it, Parvati is not dropping out of something for something like that unless it's more akin to what Cass actually did, which is like, I'm about to go out anyway. So I think that was really well played. Like the clarity of that, of like, no, but it didn't feel like you're butting heads with someone or anything. It's like, no, let's fight this out. Who wants it more? Interesting though to see those two go to the end on an endurance challenge. So I think that's kind of interesting as we move forward.
And it could really paint them more with a target in terms of when we get to the merge. It's like, well, Cass is really good in endurance. Parv's
She's
really
already
good
showed
in endurance.
herself. Yeah. Especially and this one in an individual instance as well.
Yeah. And then, so who wins? So Sarah wins. Great win because she needed it. Like, great win for Sarah.
Yes.
Like,
I don't even know if she realised how important.
Although
kind of
Sarah is picking up on the vibe. Kirby's not doing a good job to vibe check with Sarah. Because I did find it funny that Kirby was throughout at some point. She said, "Yeah, maybe you have to do something for other people when talking to Janine and Luke about possibly voting." And then she was immediately like, "Oh no, but not for Sarah."
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to ask you. Question for Eden: what has Kirby done to build trust with Sarah?
Well, nothing.
Right? She's acting like Sarah's turning her back on me. We would ride or die. Ride or dies don't do that. And it's like, I don't know if she's given much. And maybe that's because who was her pair? Was it Riri? Was that
her? Kirby. Kirby was
yeah.
Riri. Yeah, Kirby was Riri. And then it was also Ferris as well.
Yes.
Ferris and her were
Do you think her and Riri ever... It didn't seem like they were ever misaligned with who they wanted to go, right? So maybe that's Kirby's understanding of a ride or die. It's like, no, we always do the same thing, and there's no. I can't remember Rihanna like really pushing.
No. Riri was very like, okay, they would have a conversation and they would be like, yeah, I think so. But I did feel from watching the game and from talking to her, I feel like Kirby had a stronger opinion on what would help them as a group.
Yeah, and maybe Sarah's got a bit more clarity on like, no, I know what's best for me.
Sarah's got her own plans, but she just can't implement them because she doesn't have the social capital. I still think it's wild that everyone is like, Kirby's just playing such a good game again. Like everyone is coming to her. Everything revolves around Curbs and what she wants to happen.
Which is so interesting because the way she was sort of painting David in that first, as like, that's you now. Like, you've totally taken on that role in this tribe, I think.
Yeah, the golden goddess. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. It's really interesting. So then we find out that it's not a real, they're both going to tribal council, but no one really knows what's happening because Jonathan's being quite vague with them. Good on you, Jonathan.
How much value do you think there is in trying to figure out what the twist is going to be? Is it worth expending
plans? You need plans. You need A, B, C, D. You need to know, okay, well, if it's this and this, then this person, this and that, because you can't have that full conversation at tribal council. You need to know going in what's going to possibly happen. And what was interesting though, they didn't just think straight up, like no one just thought straight up game changers. Which game changers, they all went to tribal council and they voted off one person and everyone voted.
I was thinking about that. I thought it could have been something like that where you get to vote against people on the other side as well.
Yeah, that was the famous one where Malcolm went home when he shouldn't have gone home. When he shouldn't have gone home at all. So that didn't come out at all. Shani was like, oh, it's definitely 2 votes, 1 fire. And then they and then they sort of pulled a quick one on. We'll get to tribal council in a minute. But before that, no one had the idea, and I think Sarah mentioned it briefly, but this idea of maybe you go because you're good at fire. Maybe you take the hit because this is very Aussie from South Pacific. He actually did that. He went to Redemption Island on purpose to knock out the other person to get to merge to come back into the game. So he was
Yeah, and I guess that makes sense in the context of save your tribe, but doesn't make sense in the context of save yourself, because you're like, you don't want to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
But it would have been interesting if that was a choice they had, rather than random choice. That could have been a real interesting.
I would have loved. It would have been. I don't know. Would it have been more interesting with just two really good fire makers? It's like, guys, who's the best fire maker?
I think so. Anything in Survivor, I think that takes out that chance of getting screwed because of, a random element. I always like, you got a bit more of your fate in your own hands. I think I always like that a bit more in Survivor.
At the end of the day, Tony would have gone, I'm under threat. It's my ass on the line. I'm going to go to fire, and then you at least have a bit of control in your final moments, because you go, you know what? If I lose fire and get voted out, that's me. But if I win it for the tribe and I keep myself around, that's huge. Yeah. And oh my god,
are we skipping ahead to tribal? Should we go back a bit?
No, let's go back. Yeah, we've got dragged into tribal. We'll just go back a bit to the scramble. But tribal was pretty awesome. Yeah, but let's just take a step back. I want to talk a little bit about the world for a moment. Mm-hmm. Lisa and Pav have a conversation at one point where Lisa does that hilarious thing where she sort of says, yeah, like, you know how you play and everyone says that you like lure people in and make them feel good about themselves and they really like you. It's just like, yeah, I don't think you do that. I just think you're really likable and everyone really likes you and everyone wants to get involved with you. And I'm like, Lisa, she's doing Lisa. It to you right now.
That's the point. She is very good at that, Lisa. You've literally explained that with your own feelings.
I just had to laugh at it. I thought that was very good.
But what's interesting over there, so we've got the four core women, and then they've both got their backup.
Yeah.
They've got Tony and Tommy, the two pair. It's such an interesting split because it's like clearly both of you know, I want to keep this person and I want to keep this person. And you're at an impasse because both sides don't want to budge and both sides want to keep their ace up their sleeve.
So another thing that I thought wasn't really discussed was there's a feeling of, okay, the Americans want to keep Tone, the world want to keep Tommy. Let's just all vote, and then it's even, Stephen. And then, oh, no, because then it goes to rocks. No, someone's going to have to flip. I was just thinking, like, is there a way to...
I feel... that's an interesting question. Who do you think, regardless of Tony's actions in tribal, right? Who do you think's more likely to flip of the four women in terms of self-preservation and being like...
Well, we saw it, Sari.
Sari?
Yeah, we saw it happen. I think she was on board with getting rid of Tony. She was like, you know what? I actually feel really good. I think the difference between Pav and Sari is Sari has Lisa like locked because she knows that Lisa is the super fan that loves Sari and she's never going to turn on her. So Sari probably feels like that there's more for me there with keeping Lisa but she's not. I don't think she sees Cass as big a threat as possible. I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
So. Yeah, I think it's a really interesting four because they've both got these sort of internal alliances spinning around each other. So it'd be really interesting to see when they get to merge how they shake out as a four and who they want to work with.
So I think what could have happened, and this is crazy scramble talk, but if Pav was serious about keeping Tony, which I think initially she was, all you need to do is you need Tommy to think to vote someone else, right?
Mm-hmm. To vote one of the women.
You've got to convince Tommy that you guys are going to vote off Sari. So Pav and Tony have to go, yep, it's Sari. Come with us, do it now.
Yeah,
and then vote him instead.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough call.
So it becomes a 2-3-1, which is really hard to pull off.
Here's a question for you. In terms of the four women,
yep.
How much do you go outside them and go to Tommy and go to Tony and work out, as you're saying, these crazy extraneous plans? Do you think there's good value in that? Because it's kind of like a Cold War. Like you all say you want to work together, but you all want to get the way you want. Is it clever? Is it good practice to go around them and go to Tony and go to Tommy and try and work out some complicated plan of like, you've got to work on those girls to make this happen and get them to flip? Or are you better to not really poke that?
I think that muddies the waters. I think it just muddies the waters too much. I think you just need to decide who is the weakest link. Not the weakest link, but who has the most to gain from folding. And I think Sari probably did have the most to gain in terms of keeping Lisa, showing the loyalty to them, being really strong. And then Parv has nowhere to go at that point, so she has to come back with them anyway.
And I do think Parvati's read was right. I think for her, having Tony around as a shield was valuable. That obviously, situations change, but I think that was, for me, the right call to keep someone like Tony around in the face of her.
Yeah, I completely agree. I liked, I did like, there's just one funny little point where Parv said, Finland. Like she's talking about. He's talking about Finland.
I also really like that Tony, like, understood, is like, no one's talking about the key anymore. They definitely found the key. Like, just knowing
Tony's a smart player, man. He's won twice. Like, that is just him. And for him to just go, it's probably Parv that's found it. I'm going to put it in. I'm going to read her denial. And then I'm going to know, like, because he didn't know. He didn't know for sure. And he just put it all out there. But he played it really well.
Yeah. It's just great, though, to be like, we were all racing around for this key. Then all of a sudden, everyone's given up on the key.
Exactly. Now let's just go back to the Australian scramble just for a little bit, because obviously we know the world went to tribal council, but this is where honestly Sarah would have been in a lot of trouble if she hadn't. Because what did you think of? So Sarah goes to Janine, and sort of again, this is half measures. This is I did feel that if you're going to go to Janine and have these conversations, you need to build up like a relationship with Janine and be like, you know what, I actually feel really good with you. I actually think, and then build that up over a little bit. But the game's so quick, it's hard to do. But build it up a little bit, and then go, you know what, I'm gonna actually pull the trigger and do it and go all in and be like, I'm with you guys. It's just really hard when she just talks about it. It just opened the door for it to bite her in the butt.
It really did, because correct me if I'm wrong, she didn't actually say, I want Kirby next, did she?
No, she said, I'm worried strange. I'm worried she doesn't trust me.
Yeah, but she never said, I'm going to go for Kirby now. That was Janine.
And then she backed it up pretty quick. She's like, no, I don't want to go for Kirby.
Do you think Janine misheard or Janine twisted her words?
I think...
is it a deliberate move from Janine to paint her that way, or did she actually misunderstand what Sarah said?
No. I think it actually doesn't matter, because she did bring up Kirby as someone that she's not as trustful for.
Yes.
So that it doesn't matter if she said, I vote you out. It's just that nugget of distrust that then becomes real. It was interesting that Luke was the one to say to Janine, like, hey,
go drop that,
do the reverse, do the flip, and go to Kirby and say, hey, let's try and build some trust with Kirby and say, hey, Sarah's flipping. So now this is danger zone for Sarah now, because she still is thinking like, oh yeah, I might go back with Kirby and Shonny.
And it's the kind of thing of like, as you say, the half measures. Like, if you've got the plan to do it, get the numbers and do it. But this like question, like if that's not your closest ally in the game, I don't think you should be having those kind of conversations, right? It's like, Janine does not strike me, as you're saying, like building this relationship. It's like, sure, you're exploring options, I guess, which is good, and testing the waters, but like maybe poke at Janine and see where her appetite lies, if you're thinking about flipping around.
Yeah, the other thing, and this was very familiar with Titans v Rebels once we merged as well, there were these weird long chains of connection that made it really hard to go, this is who we're going for. Like in this one, you can't say to Kirby, let's go Luke, because her and Luke have something. You can't say Shonny because Shonny and Kirby have a connection. You can't say Janine because Luke and Janine have a connection. It's very similar to us. It's like you couldn't say Valeria because then Mark would get upset, and then that would then
so you've got to cut him out of the conversation.
You couldn't say Ray to someone because then it would get back to Ferris, who was connected to Kirby, who was connected to Riri. So if you mention it to Ree, it would go all the way back to them. If you mention stuff to Caro, then it obviously goes to Kitty and then through me as well. So there was all these really weird connections. It was hard to just lock something in. And this
is obviously with less people. Does that make that even more hard? Because it's like you can't 100%. Even cut people out of a conversation. You have to use them. You need their numbers,
and that's why it's so good having that person that can then come back to you and say, "Hey, this is what's happening. You need that loyal
the birds
person.
and the beasts.
The birds and the beasts. Yeah, that's right.
The little spies.
Many spies.
So we saw very clearly though from Kirby, just to wrap this up.
Yeah,
very very clearly from Kirby that's like, I'm going to go for Sarah now because
yeah,
I don't trust her. She's putting my name out there. Do you think this is something Sarah can come back from?
I don't know. I think Sarah's best choice now is the world. I think there's probably an opportunity there, but I think
she's got the world at her feet.
Yeah, that's right. She's at the world's feet. But Kirby's made the first play on Pav. So I think even Sarah can't even go to Pav now and be like, hey, I want to work with you, because I think she's like, no, Kirby is the power broker here. She's going to. So I think Sarah's options are getting rapidly running out. The only good thing about Merge, maybe there are bigger threats that have to go before her.
Yep.
So she could hang around and maybe she could build something else with.
I feel we've spent a lot of time on Sarah because I feel she's in a really interesting position.
Yeah, she is. The
others are kind of status quo-y. It's very kind of clear where they are, but Sarah's really, hasn't really found her place on the tribe yet, but still very much in the mix.
I liked Tony's following the girls around so they couldn't talk about it.
Oh, I loved it.
I thought that was very classic Tone. classic Tone. Now let's get to tribal council. So obviously they're doing the rock draw. I think there's something cool about sending your best firemaker in to take their best firemaker on. But the only thing is, then it's over really quick because they just go bang and then it's fire.
Yeah, but I don't know. If you get a mismatch, there's a lack of tension there also, right? If they're both quite good, I think that is more exciting. I think.
Sari was manifesting that. The way that she was saying to Tony, she was like, "Tony, what should I do? What should I do?" Right. And then it opens up, and of course it's her. That's very similar to Fishback when he was saying there's a famous challenge in Second Chance where he was saying to Jeff, "What if someone fires their target and it flies off to the right and hits another target?" And they're like, Jeff's like, "No, that will never happen.
I remember that.
That will never happen. We've tested it. It's never going to happen." And then lo and behold, it happens, and everyone's just like. So the manifestation works.
What I found quite interesting is the coaching and who the coaches were.
Yes.
And you had Kirby, who's that sort of driver of that tribe, and then you had Tony, who was obviously feeling the heat of being on the bottom.
Yeah.
And that's a really interesting. You've almost got the complete opposite dynamics here of the number one cheerleader driving the tribe and the person who feels they're at the bottom.
Yeah, I've never seen the swinging method. JLP and me have never seen the swinging method before.
I've never seen that.
That was interesting.
I normally just the put in your hands and blow it. I don't really understand the difference.
Yeah, but you're getting air through it. Maybe we'll see this take over. Maybe this will be known as the Sarah method of firemaking moving forward. Then it was unfortunate. Sari.
I thought
couldn't do it.
What I thought we might have had as well is as they were leaving, go, oh, by the way, Sarah, you get to hand off your necklace to someone else. I thought something like that could have been interesting to be like, you've
Josh,
got the necklace.
you should be a producer.
Hey, look, maybe they thought, I reckon they thought about this and they thought it wasn't a great idea.
Maybe.
But I reckon that, because it seemed weird to have two necklaces and I was like, surely they get used. You know what I mean? It felt weird to have them both and then to actually not matter with one of them. That felt kind of strange to me.
Because there's an opportunity here that no one talked about is to throw fire. To lose, to get rid of someone.
Yeah, I think they're too close to merge. They don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any clear, this person's going to jump. I think that the women were starting to feel it with Tommy and Tony a little bit. But that's about making people comfortable, right? Even with Luke and Janine, are they liable to jump across? Probably. I don't know.
But then if everyone jumps across, then no one moves.
Great. They literally just swap.
There we go. There we go.
I am the Australian. Look at me. I'm the Australian now.
I am the Australian now. That's right. The other thing I wanted to talk about from a Tony perspective is it again comes to alliance management. I don't think Pav gave Tony enough to make him feel good about her supporting him. No. It was very shut down. It was very it's just Tommy. It's just Tommy. But on the flip side, Tony is also the kind of player that if you give him something, he could use it against you, much like Luke did, where he then goes, Pav's been saying this about it, Pav's been doing this, and then just cat amongst the pigeons. So maybe it is better to just give him as little as possible. But he ended up blowing up. Do you think Pav was with him? I don't think she was ever going to use an idol for him or anything like that.
No, I think she was he's a good shield to keep around. But I really don't think, the way Tony was behaving around camp, it felt like, you guys are cutting me out. I feel completely cut out. You can't convince me that we're America strong here because I see the four of you going around. So I think definitely they could have done more to foster that. And I do think Parvati, I think she would prefer to have kept Tony, but I don't know how far she would have gone to do that.
Well, that's right.
I think she could speak him up and, maybe that kind of thing. And, Tony's going to be really valuable for us. And I think they both pitched their cases pretty well, earlier. But it didn't seem like they could really mount a logical argument.
I honestly do think, and this is for Cass as well, I'm not sure it was fully thought through to the logical conclusion, because I actually think there's a case for Cass and Lisa that it's actually better for them to have Tony in the game still as well. Because I do think with Tommy still there, I think those guys are seen as a little bit more of a stronger group, those three.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
And I feel that with Tony there, suddenly the Americans have that target on them a little bit more. And Tony is definitely the bigger target for Pav and Sari. Tony is going before that. So you've got an extra inbuilt like vote where Tony is the target. The only thing that is more that you have to take into account is the fact that Tony could find an idol or to do something crazy. I'm not sure whether Tommy's going to find that.
No,
it's going to be
that's a really interesting point. I was so happy though that before Tony went, we went to see him go full Tony mode. Like,
he went full Tony.
Backed into the corner. Like, what have you got? You know, he's pulled out the shoe. He's got his bag. Got the fake eye. Like all of this stuff, and then him going, "I'm going to go talk to everyone." Everyone says, "I don't know. I don't know." He's like, "I guess no one knows who they're voting for." It's like that tells the story to Tony. You know what I mean? Like,
he then knows 100%. And the thing that's really hard is if he had an idol, he'd play an idol. Like,
I know.
Like it does come down to that. He did probably one of the best jobs of selling it as a concept in terms of, I'm going to use this now. I think I might say for merge because I actually think I have done enough to make you guys not vote. Like, I actually think he did enough
to get up and walk up and like maybe that moment someone cracks. You like that would have been incredible if they like go and get the idol that's underneath the podium.
And then Tony grabs it before them. And
something like that. It was like that would have been so
that
crazy.
Would have been so beautiful. It is pretty funny though that the more Tony pushed, and I think he had 100%, well, he did have 100% correct read on the Pav situation, but then Pav just was like, you know what, you're going for me, you're coming at me, you're dead, let's vote. You've killed it.
My read of it was that Tony thought Parvati found the key by herself and kept that information to herself.
Yes.
So he thought that
he was
I'm going to try and bust up the women a bit because they're not all on the same page. Parvati's playing her own game, and I'm going to get in Tommy's ear and be like, this is what we got to do to split them up a bit.
Yeah, and it's ironic that Pav was probably the person that was trying to save him the most.
I know, and then he was going after her the hardest because I guess he saw her. I guess he thought that that's where they could potentially throw votes. I guess that he thought that was his only option because it was interesting between him and Tommy, like them trying to work out what to do. I couldn't quite work out like what Tony's trying to get Tommy to do. Yeah, like what is Tony's? I couldn't quite work out exactly what Tony was trying to make happen. I just knew he was trying to like make shit blow
because
up,
the thing is, if he was like, I've got an idol, I'm safe, you need to vote Sari to try and stay in the game. So, but then Tony still votes for Sari because in that case, Tony should vote for Tommy and hope the girls are voting for Tommy as well.
Oh, for his own preservation.
Yeah.
It just struck me like Tony voting for Sari. I was like, is he just hoping Tommy does and then they split 2-2 on them or something and it's a 2-2-2 tie or something like that? Like I couldn't quite see why Tony didn't potentially throw a vote Tommy's way just to try and keep himself in the game. But like, I don't dislike what Tony did. He definitely worked himself into a position of an untenable position, but I much prefer to see someone go out swinging like that and maybe swing a bit too hard than not swing at all.
So let's just talk that out though. So Tony and Tommy vote Sari. Pav and Sari vote
Tommy. And Cass and Lisa vote for Tony.
So it's 2-2-2. So then Tony, Tommy, and Sari don't vote, and then Pav, Cass, and Lisa vote, and then Tony goes home.
I think so.
Yes. Yeah, so Tony still goes home. Yeah. There we go. We got to the bottom of it.
Tony goes home, folks. The immunity sock is worthless.
Now, I would love the Survivor Facts guy to look up, like, outside of a crazy like gender season or whatever like that. Like, when have we had 4 guys voted off in the first 4 rounds? Yeah. It's just Tommy and Luke left,
which seems crazy.
I know. It's so wild.
It's interesting because I guess we had four women, 3 men on both tribes. I wonder if that potentially would have played out differently. Because I don't know. There's something about the Women's Alliance. It always seems to come up. You know,
it always comes up. Great episode for Sarah though. One immunity and 1 fire making.
Yeah, looking real good. Just the rest of the game and her alliance is completely crumbling, but those aspects.
Mate, everything resets at merge. Everything resets.
Yeah, it really does. I think as well with all these all-stars, whenever we hit merge, like they'll be right into it and really wanting to cross connections and figuring out where they sit.
Good. Okay, who's Spun and Grun, Josh?
Spun and Grun.
Yeah.
Spinning Grin.
I'm thinking. What are you thinking?
I don't know. Maybe like Cass and Lisa.
I think I'd give it to Cass.
Actually, probably Cass.
I think I'd give it to Cass because she stuck to her guns. She did what she needed to do. I think maybe Cass.
I think so. She did really well in the individual challenge, and ended up, managing to get rid of Tony as what they wanted. So I think
Cass,
Cass,
double point Cass.
Spinning Grin.
And who ruffled some feathers, Josh?
It was to rustle feathers.
Ruffle feathers. You can rustle. You can ruffle. Who did it?
It's got to be Tony. Can't be anyone else other than Tony on this episode. That tribal was crazy.
Yeah, it's probably Tone.
He did his best to rustle some feathers.
Did I give a little point to Janine? I give a little point to dropping some.
Oh yeah,
dropping
that's
some
good.
nonsense.
Maybe a little.
You said rustle feathers.
just a little rustle. Just a little rustle. Just a little rustle there for Janine. Excellent. Yep. I think that's pretty good, man. I think that, again, another awesome episode. This is so crazy. And, Tony exit interview, man.
Oh, you've got one?
Man.
Great. Awesome. That'd be cool.
This is like dreams come true. This is going to be sick.
I just want, obviously we saw Parv grab the idol at the end as well. I'm curious to know if she discussed that. It seemed like she didn't discuss it with the group.
No way.
So it's interesting that she just jumped in and grabbed it. But yeah, very sad to see Tony go.
Very sad to see Tony go.
We got a little taster of what he can do.
We got a little taste, but no Spy Shack this time. No Spy Treehouse. No.
He did his best to tail people and follow them around and stuff.
Yeah, I think in a super fast game like this, you don't have enough time to build some sort of structure.
Yeah,
in the forest. Sorry, Tony. That was his one failure.
Could be my Spy Shack. It was not enough time.
Not enough time. 16 days. Exactly. So that's where we're at, man. And so everyone, please like and subscribe. Love to get our subscriber count up. If you like the show, please let's do it. And tomorrow night, we have our screening night and / live podcast recording. It's going to be fantastic. We've got all the big names down there. Heaps of ex-players to do a big Q&A. We're going to be giving away prizes. We've got a buff to give away. There we go. Anyone in Melbourne should come down. Bloody come down. We've got a hardship ticket if you don't have a lot of cash, just $5. That's fantastic. Get in there. We're going to watch the show. Then we're going to do a big Q&A afterwards. It's going to be so much fun. So come on down.
And so the other thing you do, just tell your friends about the show. If you've got some 5 of friends, you've got a group chat or something, just that's a big part of helping us grow, is just to tell your friends and post about the show. Helps us out massively. But hopefully we'll see some of you on Monday night at our live recording.
See you then. See you, Josh.
Bye.